Kunjabihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Madhava Kunjabihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Prajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Prajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Jaya Prabhupada 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 Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jayam Vishnahad Paramahamsa Parivakacharya Astadara Sadasri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Nanta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Gopinath Shyamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Mayapurdam Ki Jai Gangamaya Ki Jai Yamunamaya Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Priyamatanga Book Distribution Ki Jai Shalom Distribution Ki Jai New Govardhan Dham Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Hare. All glories to some of the devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to some of the devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to some of the devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Gauranga, Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 9, entitled Brahma's Prayers for Creative Energy, Text 32. Yadatu sarvabhuteshu Darusvagnim ivastitam Pratichakshita mamloko Jayatayeva Kashmalam Yadatu sarvabhuteshu Dadusvagnim ivastitam Pratichakshitamam loko Jayatayeva Kashmalam Yudatu Sarvabhuteshu Dadusvagnim ivastitam Pratichakshitamam loko Jayatayeva Kashmalam Yada, when, to, but, Sarva, all, Bhuteshu, in the living entities, Daresu, in wood, Agnim, fire, Eva, like, Stitam, situated, Pratichakshita, you shall see, Mam, me, Lokaha, and the universe, Jayat, can give up, Tahi, then at once, Eva, certainly, Kashmalam, illusion. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. You will see me in all living entities as well as all over the universe, just as fire is situated in wood. Only in that state of transcendental vision will you be able to be free from all kinds of illusion. Please repeat. You will see me, in all living entities, as well as all over the universe, just as fire is situated in wood. Only in that state of transcendental vision will you be able to be free from all kinds of illusion. Purport. Brahma prayed that he might not forget his eternal relationship with the Lord during the course of his material activities. In answer to that prayer, the Lord said that he should not think of existing without a relationship with his omnipotency. The example is given of the fire in wood. The fire kindled in wood is always the same, although the wood may be of different types. Similarly, the bodies within the material creation may be specifically different according to shape and quality, but the spirit souls within them are not different from one another. The quality of fire, warmth, is the same everywhere, and the spiritual spark or part and parcel of the Supreme Spirit is the same in every living being. Thus, the potency of the Lord is distributed all over His creation. This transcendental knowledge alone can save one from the contamination of material illusion. Since the Lord's potency is distributed everywhere, a pure soul or devotee of the Lord can see everything in relationship with the Lord. Therefore, he has no affection for the outer coverings. That pure spiritual conception makes him immune to all contamination of material association. The pure devotee never forgets the touch of the Lord in all circumstances. Translation, you will see me in all living entities as well as all over the universe, just as fire is situated in wood. Only in that state of transcendental vision will you be able to be free from all kinds of illusion. Om Jnana Tirandasha Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshomalatam Jena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapatandikam Mukam Karati Vachalam Bhangam Langate Karim Yatkripatam Hamvadi Shri Gurundina Taranam. So here the chapter is Lord Brahma's prayers for creative energy. So in previous verses, Lord Brahma was becoming very distressed because of the overwhelming situation of his duty in creating material energy and all living entities and the universe. So he became very depressed. And at the same time, he was praying to Krishna that I want to execute my service, but I want to execute my service in full remembrance of you. And as this verse points out, that when Lord Brahma was in this consciousness of seeing himself as an eternal servant of Krishna, and that he was executing his duty, his universal affairs for creation, and at the same time constantly remembering Krishna, only in that situation could he become free from all illusion. And Krishna says that here, that only in that state of transcendental vision will you be able to be free from all kinds of illusions. So all living entities in this universe, in the whole material creation, are under different types of illusion. Not only us lesser human beings, but even the great demigods, even up to Lord Brahma, are affected by the illusions of this material world, that we are this material body, that this is our real home, that we can make a permanent situation in this material world, that material gratification, gratifying the urges of the senses is real happiness, or the illusion of thinking that there is no God, that I'm the center of the universe, everything's for my enjoyment. And Srila Prabhupada says, to a lesser or greater degree, every living entity is thinking that that I am God, that I'm the center of the universe, and everything revolves around me. And to the point where sometimes the living entity even claims to be God or the next incarnation. Srila Prabhupada stated, like in India, which is the land of Dharma, or the land of Krishna consciousness, but still today you will find in every street corner the next incarnation. Someone claiming to be actually God, to be Krishna. And as we know, that story in the Krishna book where, what was his name, the demon who assumed 2 extra arms? Sorry? Paundraka, yeah. So he was claiming that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that he descended out of his causeless compassion to save all living entities, and he falsely was wearing a peacock feather and Kastuba jewel and a yellow dhoti, and he stuck on an extra 2 arms, and Krishna was just laughing. And no, he was stating to Krishna that, you're the false Vasudev, and I will send you to the abode of Yamaraj. But as we know, the story went that, Krishna just cut off his head, didn't he? Yeah. So many false incarnations like this. So this is the greatest illusion, that thinking that we are the Supreme Lord, the next incarnation. There was a story I was reading. Srila Prabhupada was in Bhaktivedanta Manor, and Mayavadi came to see Srila Prabhupada, and he had talks with Srila Prabhupada, and then at the end he had all these pamphlets advertising his program, and that there is no God and that we're all one. And he left a pile of pamphlets in the temple, and the devotees were thinking this is a big offence to Srila Prabhupada, and they were thinking that we have to just throw these out. And Srila Prabhupada, he said to all the devotees, and some prasadam came out, some fruit, salad and different prasadam, and Prabhupada said to the devotees, hand one of these pamphlets to every devotee. And the devotees were thinking, how can we, use this offensive literature? And so they handed them out, and then Srila Prabhupada ordered the devotees to put prasadam on all the pamphlets. And so the devotees understood that Srila Prabhupada was simultaneously putting down the atheistic author of this pamphlet by using his pamphlet just to serve out prasadam, and at the same time engaging him in devotional service by utilizing his pamphlets for serving the devotees. So even Lord Brahma, he becomes sometimes covered by these different illusions. Once he was going to see Krishna in Dwarka, and he came to the doorkeepers, and he said, "I would like to see my Lord in Dwarka." And they said, "Let us go and see Krishna first." And so they went to see Krishna, and Krishna said, "Well, ask him which Lord Brahma you are." So the doorkeepers came back, and they said, "Which Lord Brahma are you?" And he said, "I am Lord Brahma, Lord of this whole creation." "What do you mean, which Lord Brahma?" And so they said, "Okay, you can come in." And then he came into the association of Krishna in Dwarka, and he offered his obeisances. And Krishna was saying, "So how are you? How's everything in your service?" And Lord Brahma was saying, "Everything is well, my Lord, but I was wondering why your doorkeepers asked me which Lord Brahma I am." And Krishna just smiled, and immediately he manifested thousands and millions of other Lord Brahmas and Shivas. And some of them had, our Lord Brahma has 4 heads, some of them had 10 heads, 100 heads, 1,000 heads, 1,000,000 heads, 10 million heads. And they were all bowing down in great humility with tumultuous sound from the clang of their helmets on the floor, on the palace floor. So Lord Brahma, he realized his big mistake, that he was just like a little ant surrounded by many great elephants. And as we know the story in the Krishna book, Brahma Vimohan Leela, how Lord Brahma, he became totally bewildered, and he was thinking, who is this little blue boy in Vrindavan? You know, I am the Lord of this universe. I will put him in his place. So he was thinking to play a trick on Krishna. So he stole all of Krishna's cowherd boys and calves, and he hid them away. And after a day of his time, a moment of his time, which is like one of our days, he came back to see what was going on. And when he came back to Vrindavan, there was Krishna, seemingly in the same position with a whole lot of calves and cowherd boys, as if nothing had happened, as if the calves and cowherd boys had not been stolen. And these calves and cowherd boys, they were actually Krishna, expansions of Krishna. And Lord Brahma, he realized his foolish mistake, that he tried to, this little blue boy was none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his original Supreme Master. And he'd made a big mistake, so he offered many nice prayers in forgiveness and glorification of Krishna. So even Lord Brahma, if even Lord Brahma can be subject to different types of illusion, of course these pastimes of Lord Brahma becoming covered by illusion, they're transcendental pastimes in relationship with Krishna. They're not ordinary illusions like we come under. But this is an example that even if the great demigods can become subject to illusion, then what to speak of all of us. So in this material world, where without Krishna consciousness, we're constantly in illusion, constantly in this bodily conception of life. One just has to go down to Murwillumbah or Byron Bay or Surfers Paradise, and we see constantly, practically every single person and every living entity is in this bodily conception of life, thinking that they're totally satisfied and happy, not understanding that at any moment their death is going to come and they don't know where they will go in the future. Just like the example of the man on the cliff. He's coming to a cliff because he's been chased by a tiger, and he's looking down, but there's a crocodile down below in the river. So he can't go down, he can't go back that way. There's a tiger, and he looks up and there's a tree, and there's a branch hanging out of the tree, and in that branch is a bee's hive, and there's some honey dripping down. And he thinks, let me try that honey. So he tastes the honey, and he's thinking, that is amazing honey. I've never tasted. That's like organic, the most amazing organic honey. Better than what you buy in Coles. And he completely forgets his dangerous situation. Any moment he's going to lose his grip and go to the crocodiles. So this is like all living entities. We see that they're completely forgetting their impending death, and they're caught up in the illusory situation that, as Srila Prabhupada said, two greatest illusions is that I am the enjoyer and I am the controller. Everything's in my enjoyment and I'm totally in control. But as Srila Prabhupada said, we're just like a dog on a chain. A master has a dog on the chain, and the dog's thinking, I can bark at all the cars passing by. But at any moment, the master can yank the chain and make the dog understand that he's not free. So, but to become free from all illusions, this Krishna is giving the process, is that we have to see him in all living entities as well as all over the universe. And he gives a very nice example. Just as fire is situated in wood, there's many different types of wood, different types of trees, but the same fire is present in all the different types of wood and trees. So similarly, there's many different bodies within this material creation. Humans, animals, insects, reptiles, demigods. But within all of the entities is the eternal spirit soul. So the devotee, he sees the equality of all living beings, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vichavana Sampane Brahmani Gavi Hastani Sundi Chaivaspaki Pandita Sambhadashana. The learned person sees with equal and transcendental knowledge a brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater. So he's not affected by the outer coverings, but he sees the pure spiritual conception within all living entities. And this is true compassion, seeing that all living entities are equal parts and parcels of Krishna. They all have an eternal birthright as a loving servant of Krishna, and they all should have an opportunity to reunite that eternal loving relationship with Krishna. So the devotee, in his service of trying to engage other people in Krishna consciousness, he doesn't see their external coverings, but he sees this is an eternal servant of Krishna. They're an illusion right now. They're thinking they are the supreme enjoyer, and they don't understand their future perilous, dark situation in this material world unless they take to Krishna consciousness. So a devotee tries to enlighten them, to give them this transcendental knowledge. Just like when we're on distributing books or prasadam, we don't discriminate. We see many different types of people, but we try to give everyone the chance to take to Krishna consciousness. Sometimes when distributing books, you may think, this person looks very qualified, as if they're going to be very receptive, but you approach them and they're not interested at all. Another person looks very, completely under the modes of ignorance and passion, and you approach them and you're very surprised, they're very interested. So you just can't tell, you can't judge a book by its cover. So we have to always be in this platform of seeing on the spiritual platform and seeing everything as Krishna's property, just like we may see like HG Prabhu's shoes outside the temple room. We may not see him, but we see his shoes. So immediately we can remember the form of Ajita and all his activities and all his service. So we may see something in the creation like the trees or the mountains or the oceans or different creatures, and a devotee immediately he's thinking of the form of Krishna. that this is all Krishna's property. And Krishna is even appearing in what to speak of appearing in the form of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and the Bhagavatam and the deity form and the devotees and prasadam. Krishna is even stating in the Bhagavad Gita how he appears in material nature in many different ways, so that anyone can see and realize Krishna in many different features. In this way we can be Krishna conscious all the time, just like Krishna says, Rasoham apsakuntaya prabhasmi sasasoyo panavasa savavedeshu sabdake purisham nishu. That Krishna says, I am the taste in water, the pure taste in water. When a devotee drinks that pure water, he's thinking of the form of Krishna. I am the light of the sun and the moon. I am the ability in man. I am the sound and ether. Krishna says, of the immovable objects, I am the Himalayas. Of aquatics, I am the shark. Of beasts, I am the lion. So many different ways he gives on how we can even see him in material nature. And this is, as aspiring devotees, this is what we have to do, is always be Krishna conscious, always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said these are the two most important rules in which all the other rules hinge. To always be thinking of Krishna. It's wonderful to be engaged in so many activities externally in our services, but we always have to be internally thinking of Krishna at the same time. So Krishna says this in the Bhagavad Gita, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam manushma yojita mayapita monobuddhi mam ivashat yashamshaya. Therefore, Krishna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna. At the same time, carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. And Srila Prabhupada gives the example of a housewife who has a paramour. She has an extra lover. She's married, but she's developed an attachment to some extra man. So very dutifully, she's externally executing her duties in the house so that the husband can't detect, but internally she's thinking, when can I meet my paramour? So we have to be like this, that externally we're doing all our duties in our service to Krishna, but internally we're always thinking of the form of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna, the qualities of Krishna, the associates of Krishna, Krishna's devotees. And the beauty about, even though in the beginning, coming to Krishna consciousness, we may not be able to think of Krishna constantly internally, but that will gradually come, like it's stated, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila. First it starts with the name, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And gradually the form of Krishna, Guna, the qualities, Lila, the pastimes, all become gradually manifest constantly within one's consciousness. And even if we can't remember Krishna that much, or Krishna's pastimes, just by executing his service, this will constantly remind us who we're doing this for, that we're doing this for Krishna's pleasure. And automatically, Krishna's form comes into the mind, or the form of Krishna's great devotees like Srila Prabhupada and his representatives. So being Krishna conscious doesn't just mean being conscious of Krishna, but it means also being conscious of Krishna's devotees. Krishna is never alone. He's always surrounded by his loving devotees. When we become to be Krishna conscious, we have to be Prabhupada conscious as well, and conscious of all the devotees and conscious of all living entities, thinking of all living entities and how we can bring them to Krishna's lotus feet. So, but especially be conscious of Krishna's devotees. It's not possible to understand or know or love Krishna if we don't love his servants. Love thy dog, love thy master, right? So if you go to someone's house and they've got a dog outside and you're patting the dog and the master opens the door and he sees you being very affectionate to the dog, then there's more chance, even if he doesn't know you, that he'll be friendly to you. So This is a very important point, that we have to be, in order to get the mercy and understand and love Krishna, we have to get the mercy of Radharani, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, 6 Goswamis, all the great spiritual masters in the disciplic succession, down to Srila Prabhupada and all the devotees present here. If we don't please them, if we don't get their mercy, then it's not possible to understand or love Krishna. And we all experience that as soon as we engage in this process of pleasing the devotees, pleasing our authorities, and always seeing all living entities as Krishna's part and parcel, seeing everything as Krishna's property, we immediately become free from all material anxieties, and all problems of material life seem to just fly away. So this is, it's not dry theory, but it's practically experienced. Bhakti, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, Bhakti Pareshana Bhavo Virakti, and Yatra Chaishatrika Eka Kala. That devotion to Krishna, loving devotion to Krishna, transcendental knowledge of Krishna, and detachment from all material activities that distract us from the path of Krishna consciousness. These things come automatically with every step we take in loving service to Krishna and his pure devotees. Just as when you eat a nice meal of prasadam, you feel great pleasure, nourishment, and freedom from hunger. It's automatically experienced. So I was just reading another story about Prabhupada, because we just had Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja a couple of days ago, so we should not just try to be Prabhupada conscious on that day, but Prabhupada conscious every day of our lives. And as it's fresh in our mind, I'll tell another story about Prabhupada. He was in Vrindavan, and Bhagavatam, who was a disciple, right? Prabhupada? No. Right, friend from Vrindavan. He was a Brijbasi.
Yeah, he's close to
Yeah. So he was there, and he came into Prabhupada's room, and Prabhupada was like just silent, very silent, and eyes closed, as if he was deep in meditation. Bhagavaji sat down by him for quite a long time, and then Prabhupada, after a long time, noticed that he was there. And Bhagavaji said, so you were in deep meditation, Prabhupada? And Bhagavaji said, Prabhupada said, I was meditating on, there was a mosquito in the room, and I was meditating on this mosquito, and how Prabhupada is so wonderful that he's creating even these little insignificant insects. So this is the devotee, he's seeing Krishna even in a mosquito or a fly, even the cockroaches. Sometimes we get these little insects come in the temple room, and the devotees understand some great devotees, they've just fallen down from their last life, but they're very fortunate out of billions of insects to be right here, hearing the kirtan, hearing the Bhagavatam class. So no, we have to put them out of the temple room, but we should be very gentle and pick them up, put them in the garden. So we're in a disease condition in this material world. We have the external disease relating with the body, disease, old age, birth and death. But the greatest disease is the disease in the heart of forgetfulness of Krishna. And all the other problems in this material world stem from that disease. So Srila Prabhupada's and all the great acharyas have brought about this great medicine that can wipe out this disease. The simple medicine of chanting Hare Krishna, dancing in ecstasy, taking prasadam, worshipping the deities, engaging in varieties of devotional service, reading Srila Prabhupada's books, preaching Krishna consciousness, associating with devotees. Srila Prabhupada's built a house in which the whole world can live. And he's given us all these wonderful programs in which the disease of ignorance, disease of forgetfulness, disease of illusion, the 6 whips of this material world, which is karma, krodha, lobha, matsaya, lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and envy. So we're all covered by these different whips, these different illusions. But this Krishna consciousness movement is so wonderful that even though we've been entrenched in materialistic life for millions of births, completely, especially in Kali Yuga, completely under the modes of passion and ignorance, still this process is so powerful that we can admittedly, even people who are coming for their first day or two can become so much free from these illusions of materialistic life and so blissful in Krishna consciousness. We see so many people coming every day and they're so happy, they're so blissful just by hearing the kirtan, by taking prasadam, associating with devotees like this. All our sinful activities for millions of births can be wiped. Our slate can be wiped clean just by once sincerely chanting Hare Krishna, taking one mouthful of prasadam. Even Srila Prabhupada says reading one page of these transcendental literatures, even one word. This is the power of this process. And we can finish our situation in this material world in one lifetime. Srila Prabhupada said, go back home, back to Godhead. Make us solutions to all the problems of life and go back to the spiritual world, back to the topmost place in the spiritual world, Goloka, Vrindavan. We're in this hellish material world, and Kali Yuga is the hellish of all times. But for a devotee, he's seeing this, even Kali Yuga, as a very wonderful opportunity. And he's thinking it's as good as the spiritual world because there's so much opportunity to render service to Krishna and so much opportunity to associate with Krishna's devotees and so much opportunity to engage other people, to spread Krishna consciousness. Just like years ago, we used to go to the Melbourne Cup, and mainly we would go there selling stickers, collecting like thousands of dollars from the punters at the Melbourne Cup. And but I know one devotee, Dhruva, who's on the island, what's it called? Norfolk Island. Once we're there, he was doing books there. And I think I heard Subha Lakshmi, she was doing books at the Melbourne Cup years ago, Prabhupada disciple. So, but mainly we were doing stickers there. And I had the same van, this is like 20 years ago, and I had the same van, chant Hare Krishna on the side of the van. And at the end of the day, I'd go to get the van in the car park, and many people outside the race course, they were lining up to try and get taxis, and there was never enough taxis for all the thousands of people pouring out of the race course. So some people would see my van, and because it's a big van, 14 seaters, they'd flag me down and say, hey, can you give us a lift to the city? And all these people in suits and all the ladies, and sometimes I'd say, yeah, jump in. And they'd say, we'll give you a donation, we'll give you $50, $100. And I was going that way anyway, so it wasn't out of my way. I was going back to the temple. And so sometimes I'd fill up the van with 10 or 12 people, and I get them to chant Hare Krishna on the way. I'd say, so this is the mantra, if you want to ride to the city, you've got to all chant this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And they'd be like so excited, they'd be chanting at the top of their lungs. And they'd be opening all the windows so that all the people on the street as we drove past could hear. They'd be yelling out to the people, Hare Krishna! And then at the end they'd get out and they'd give me a donation, and I'd show them the books, and some of them would buy books as well. And if they didn't buy books, I'd give them some books because they gave a big donation. So that happened like many, many years in a row. And also I went to other places sometimes doing the horse races that happen, other towns and cities too. The same thing happened. So many people are very receptive to Krishna consciousness. Just like many of us were very receptive when we first came to Krishna consciousness. Maybe some people are not so receptive, and different people are at different levels. Some people, they just want to come and eat, and that's fine. They can come every day and eat 3 times a day. Eat their way back home, back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada's secret weapon. And even we see many people on the farm here, right? They're staying for months and months and months, and they never come for the class or kirtan, but they're every day there for prasadam. And that's fine, that's fantastic. And other people, they're very keen to come for the classes and the kirtans. So just like on the street when we meet people, many people immediately, they're very receptive, very interested. They want to ask questions, they want to take books, they want to join in the kirtan. And some people, they're just not interested at all. They just walk straight past. But still, even if they walk straight past, even if they just see the devotees, even if the devotees just are nice to them or give them a little bit of prasadam or chant Hare Krishna to them, those people, even if they just walk past and they show no interest, they're also free from more sins than they could commit in millions of lifetimes. This is the potency of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and prasadam and associating with devotees. So sometimes book distributors, people are not interested, but we say thanks for your time, and we tap them on the shoulder with a book. So they're getting to touch Prabhupada's books. And as we know, these books are no ordinary literatures. They're full of description of Krishna's forms, pastimes, qualities, devotees, creations. Sometimes I'm reading purports from the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, and I'm counting how many times Prabhupada says Krishna in each purport. And sometimes it's about 16 or 18 times he says Krishna in one purport. So that's the beauty about these transcendental literatures, that we're constantly reminded of Krishna and our relationship with Krishna and our perilous situation in this material world if we forget Krishna, and we're constantly reminded of the importance of this human form of life to make a solution to all the problems. And what does Srila Prabhupada say the real problems of this world are? Birth, death,
disease,
and old age. People don't realize that these are problems. If you talk with anybody out there, people they're not thinking that these are their problems. They're thinking, I haven't got enough money. My problems are I don't have enough money, I don't have a big mansion, I don't have the latest car, I don't have the latest technology, I don't have enough chance to go on holidays overseas. But no, these are not the problems. Problems are that we're undergoing repeated birth, death, old age and disease for millions of births. But in one short lifetime, we can get out of this material world. And even if we do come back, Suchanam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Bhashta Bhajanate, Krishna says that even one falls away after short practice of practicing Krishna consciousness. He's born into a family of aristocratic people or rich mercantile people. At least he gets a human birth. But if one falls away, not successful after long practice, he takes birth in a family of transcendentalists. So there's no loss. Even if we do come back, devotees will be born in a wonderful, glorious situation, like we see so many Gurukul kids, right? From the very birth or before birth, they're conceived by loving devotee parents, and devotees chant 50 rounds before conceiving a child. That's what Srila Prabhupada said we should do. And in that pure state of consciousness, we can invite a great soul to take birth in the family of devotees. So we see so many wonderful kids, very fortunate kids, from their very birth or before their birth, they're getting to associate with devotees, even in the womb, right? They're coming to kirtan, coming to classes, like Prahlad Maharaj. Even in the womb, he was a constantly hearing Narada Muni's instructions to his mother. And he was totally, fully Krishna conscious even in the womb. Of course, he's no ordinary living entity, but even devotees who they have children in the womb who, maybe definitely not on the level of Prahlad Maharaj, but still they're so fortunate. So who knows our future, but our future is guaranteed. Either we're going back to Godhead or we're taking birth in family of devotees, if we just stick to Krishna consciousness. So we should always remember that our past life before coming to Krishna consciousness, that there was no happiness, we're always subject to anxiety, so many illusions. And we should think that if I ever leave Krishna consciousness, that will be the situation again. I won't be happy out there in the material world. And always somehow or other, despite so many difficulties on the path of Krishna consciousness, we should always stay fixed. And the best way to do that is stay in the association of so many wonderful devotees. Stay in the association of so many wonderful, enthusiastic devotees and serve them and assist them in service and preach to each other and perform devotional service together. Just like when we go out in the street, I was reflecting the other day that many times I've been out there distributing books like by myself, and it can be hard, but when you do it in the association of devotees, it becomes a lot easier, a lot more ecstatic. Okay, so we'll finish there. Does anyone have any questions or comments? You have the microphone over there. There it is.
Hare Krishna. On book distribution, it's very engaging. You have to try and relate with the people and connect with them and, concentrate on what you're going to say to them and what they're saying and like that. So I'm just wondering, can you share how, while you're doing all of that, you're actually thinking of Krishna, his name, qualities, pastimes? Because I find it very hard to do both.
It is hard, and even if you can't remember Krishna or remember Prabhupada internally while you're doing your service of preaching out there on the street, that's fine. But if you can remember the spiritual master and Krishna at the same time, then that's even better. Takes practice. You can practice while you're talking to people. Think spiritual master and Krishna internally. Pray to them internally. And in between people, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And automatically the thought of Krishna will be there in your spiritual master. But yeah, it's not easy. It's because we're in the material world, we're much more used to be just engaged on the external platform, even in materialistic life. People have no sort of internal reflections. It's just definitely spiritually no internal reflections. It's just all external activities. So it's much easier just to be doing the external activities. That takes a lot of practice to be internally absorbed. But that will come in time. And even if it's not there all the time, at least some of the time, and gradually it can be more and more, so that you get to the point where Lila Smaranam, you're constantly 24 hours a day, like remembering Krishna's form, qualities, service, pastimes, associates like this. Krishna Rupa Manji has it.
I was just, you were talking about the bug, Prabhupada's story with the bug. There's another bug story I know. In Mayapur, especially in the wet season, you get some really remarkable looking bugs, like creatures that you've never seen before. And there was one such bug in Prabhupada's room, and he was watching it, looking at it, and his servant said, Srila Prabhupada, what are you looking at? He said, I'm looking at that bug and I'm thinking that bug's hungry. You should take it outside and give it something to eat.
Yeah. Nice. They probably get lots of prashadam in Mayapur, the mosquitoes and bugs, and they become really big.
Oh, it's just this very strange looking creature. It wasn't unique.
Yeah.
Like you climbed out of a primordial suit, they're so unusual.
Yeah. There's also Janananda Maharaj's book, Animals in Krishna Consciousness, about all bugs and cats and dogs and cows, how they were associating with devotees and doing service and taking prasadam. You get a chance to read that book, it's very inspiring. Anything else? Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Go Premanandi.